We are on Brachos. We're live. Welcome. We're on Brachos Daf Hey Amud Beis, which is the very first volume of the Talmud, 5b. About 3 lines into the wide lines. It begins with, the last line of the narrow lines, Rav Huna. The Gemara tells us a story. This is a continuation of what we've discussed the last couple of shiurim in the last couple of classes, that affliction, pain, suffering, God forbid, that comes to a person it could be to fix and cleanse someone's sins. It could also be out of Hashem's love. It's Hashem in a loving way is doing that to him. We've discussed before, I'm not going to get into it, that we don't ask for this type of love. We want to have revealed love without pain and suffering. Definitely when we see someone else suffering, we don't say, oh, it's pain, oh, it's love of Hashem, but we try to pray to have that changed. We see from the last couple stories that the Gemara said, and you could see it in the last few classes, that various sages said, I don't want the punishment and I don't want the reward. I mean, thanks but no thanks. But the Gemara continues with the story. Rav Huna had 400 barrels of wine. And these 400 barrels turned sour and it became vinegar. Now, it's a huge loss of money, a big financial loss, 400 barrels. I don't know how many bottles you get out of a barrel, how many cases you get out of a barrel, but he lost a lot of money there. So in response, to comfort him, Rav Yehuda went, he's the brother of Rav Salach Hasidah, together with Rabbanan, the sages, they went up to visit him. There's another opinion that it was Rav Ada bar Ava Rabbanan. It was a different sage that went together with the Rabbanan, but they went up to visit Rav Huna and to comfort him. Amruleh, they told him, La'ayin mar b'mileh. You got to inspect a little bit what you're doing. How are your affairs? Huh? Yes, you should really inspect well how your deeds are and your actions, because obviously this didn't come for no reason. Omar lahu, so he told them, 1 second. Am I accused, suspected in your eyes that I'm doing something wrong? I'm misbehaving somehow, that this is a punishment? What do you think I did wrong? Omruleh, so they responded, you think Hashem is suspected? You think that God is the Avad Dina B'lei Din? He's doing a din, he's causing something to happen to you for no reason. Omar lahu said, listen, that may be the case. If any of you someone here heard something about me, on the contrary, tell me what I did wrong. I'm happy to hear, which is obviously a very high level. He's ready to hear that he's wrong, or ready to hear criticism and just bring it out. But I don't know of something like that. Omar lahu. So Amruleh, they told him, this is actually what we heard. We did hear something about you. The rumor is that master, meaning Rav Huna, you didn't give the twigs to your arisei, let's call it loosely a contractor. The way it works is when you have a partner, a contracted partner, what happens is if you have a field, one of the ways to make the partnership is it's your field, and you have a fellow that works the field, takes care of it, plants it and prunes it and so on. And then you have certain agreements. He gets the produce, or you get part of the produce, and that's his payment. And it's more than just a worker; it's more like a partnership. What? Huh? Probably management is a good way to say it. Yeah, it's more than just a worker, a lot more. So he gets a percentage. Turns out to be from what you earn. But part of the deal is that when you have a vineyard, you're cutting off some of the twigs. So in addition to giving him whatever agreement you have, amount of grapes that he gets, he also gets some of those twigs. So they said, we heard about you, Rav Huna, that you didn't give him his fair share of the twigs, which obviously is a small amount. It doesn't even happen all the time when they're pruning or trimming the vineyard. Some of the twigs, that you have to divide as well among both of you. You didn't do that. Omar lahu, so he said to them, it's true, but Miko Shavikli Midi Minei, did he leave anything for me? He stole the whole thing. There's different opinions of what happened here, but I think the easiest to understand or quickly is that we've done this many times where we had to prune the twigs, and in other cases, he took the whole thing. He didn't even give me my share. So the guy's a thief. This time I didn't give him his share, but he stole from me. So all the twigs he's taken. I have nothing to give him. I don't owe him anything. Amrulay, so they told him, Hainu da Amri Inchi. Now we understand what people say. The word is, if you steal from a thief, or if after the thief you steal, you taste the taste of stealing. Which basically means you have a good excuse, but the reality is that you're stealing. He owes you, you owe him. But bottom line is, there is a small ray of stealing there. He heard them. Huh? Yeah, that's what he's saying. But so it's only a taste. It's a small drop. You can call him a gane. Okay. It's interesting because he didn't take, he just didn't give. And he claims he didn't owe because you're splitting it. Yeah, no, we'll get to that. What I brought, I think, was the Rashbam that says that. That really last time, he took more than he should have. So he's evening it out. It's like, the guy's working for me. He didn't pay me my share, so I ended up not giving it to him this round. But they told him, doesn't matter. Lepayo, like you said, the Gemara says, Rashi, you're stealing from a thief, it's, you're stealing anyways. Omar Lahu, so what's Rav Huna's answer to them? Kabil no lai, Yahiv no lai. Fine, I accept, I will give him his fair share. Even though he owes me, even though he stole from me, I'm going to give him half of this last time that we divided, I'll give him his twigs. So there's two opinions what happened afterwards with his wine, right? Remember they came here because he lost 400 barrels of wine. It went sour, it turned into vinegar. One opinion is a ness happened, the miracle happened, and the vinegar turned back into wine. So he recouped his losses. This is obviously a tremendous thing. Your wine went sour, and then now it's back to wine. Why? Because he said, I'll give back whatever I owe. If you found some kind of way that maybe it wasn't so honest, I'll fix it. The Ikod Amri, and another opinion is, Aikir Chala v'yizdavam b'dmei l'chamra. The vinegar got so expensive, whatever happened in the market, but the price of vinegar went up. And here he has 400 barrels of vinegar. He was able to sell it for the same price that you would sell wine. But whichever opinion we go by, he didn't lose anything. He probably made more money. But he didn't lose any money from this story. So on a basic level, what the Gemara is trying to prove here is that a problem or suffering to a person doesn't come for no reason. And Rashi says that let's do it now. Let's do Rashi now. But basically, they knew that this is not Yisurin Shel Ava. They knew that Rav Huna was having this thing. It's not afflictions of love from Hashem. There's something that had to be corrected. And once he corrected it, then the problem went away and he recouped all of his losses. Yeah.
They use, the Musab of 400. Okay, 400. You would throw the 400 and 400. Eretz Israel is that 400. 400.
Yeah.
The Afghanistan Shalom Akhtar was 400.
Okay.
Was a lie. And then also, another Gemara, Matun, now it cost me 400. Well, what's the significance?
There's a maimer from the Alter Rebbe in Teira about Avram Avinu buying the Maras Machpelah for 400, and he explains that it goes from the kedusha he was investing into klipa with Ephraim, which is impure, to get something greater out of that. It's similar to we have the concept of Avedas Abirurim. We refine things, we get the sparks out. 400 really represents a level that belongs to klipa, but by taking what? What's the 400? But yeah, so it came back with Esav's 400 men is a result of Avram's 400 coins to Ephraim. It was yeah.
It is one of the opinions that if you can't find it, there's something wrong. You look into your mitzvah and you feel it. And then that was one or two. The one is that you look into your ma'asim. Didn't you say a second?
There's Limud Torah, Bittul Torah,
Yeah.
Ma'asim,
And Bittul Tefillah.
Right.
Well, who says one has never done enough tefillah?
It's true. How do you know exactly what it's for, what it's from?
In other words, he davening, you were davening anyhow.
One way of understanding it
Yeah.
is that these are Tanoim. And when something that happens to them, they're looking at it from the highest level possible.
Right. Ah,
We have many answers from the Rebbe in regards to dealing with suffering, or if bad things happen, that we don't blame that it's something that was done wrong, or we don't view it as a punishment from Hashem. We want it to change. We ask for it to change. Let's go to another even more fascinating episode that happened here in Gemara. Tanya, Abba ben Yamin Emer, Abba Yamin says, there was two things that I was really mitzvah. I really wanted, it bothered me. I wanted to make sure this happens my whole life. Number one, al tfilasi shetehei lifnei mitasi. My davening should be in front of my bed, which the Gemara will explain in a minute what that means. Al mitasi, and my bed should it should be placed between north and south, the direction of the bed. So there's two things that he really wanted. He should daven in front of his bed, and his bed should be placed in the bedroom between north and south. Where's the head? Probably north. What does this mean? What does it mean in front of my bed? If you're going to tell me, says the Gemara, that he wanted to have the davening, his prayer, which means Shemona Esrei, Amida, should be right in front of the bed, that's not appropriate. Why? Because we have a teaching from Chazal. How do you know when a person davens, you shouldn't have anything in between you and the wall? You don't daven in front of a bed. You go in front of the wall, or there's a space, open space, and that's how you daven. It doesn't make, you can't put a bed, you can't daven in front of a bed. How do you know this? Because the pasuk says regarding Chizkiyo, remember Yasef is Chizkiyo panav alakir by Yispalo. In the whole story of Chizkiyo, that he was passing away and so on, he turned to the wall and he davened. Now, in that case, his tefillah was answered, and he lived, I think, another 15 years. And that was a story where the Navi came to him and said that you're being punished and you're going to die. Say your last prayers. And he basically chased them out, and he said, I'm not accepting this. And he davened to Hashem, and Hashem answered his prayer. Children and so on. It was about, I'm not going to get into the story now. So basically, it can't mean that he wants to daven in front of his bed, because we learn from this pasuk that you should daven directly in front of a wall. You don't daven in front of a bed. Obviously, if it's a table, if it's holding your siddur or whatever, something else, but you don't daven in front of a bed. Eloima, so you should say rather, don't say in front of my bed. Eloima samach lemitasi. It means next to my bed. So there's different opinions of what it means, but basically, number one, he davened right when he woke up. He wouldn't get involved in other things. We really have to do Rashi to understand this well, but hopefully we'll get to it soon. He didn't do anything else before he davened. And there's machlekes teishes and Rashi if he even learned before, if it's appropriate to learn. Obviously, we know you could learn before davening, but he was very careful that when he wakes up in the morning, he davens. He definitely doesn't start working other things where he could get consumed and forget and not daven. So that's how the Gemara learns this teaching. I always wanted to daven next to my bed, next to I wake up from my bed. What's the second part? What's the idea of a bed being between north and south? We learned in the name of Rabbi Chama, Rabbi Chanina, and the name of Rabbi Yitzchak, call a neisem mitasei, being suffering the darim. Anyone that puts his bed between north and south, having leibanim scharim, will have male children, sons. What? Or why did he say banim scharim? I think banim could also be a general term of children. What's it, Yiladim? I think it's even that the Ashkenazim should understand what it's referring to. Habanim.
What about the girls?
They're not. I don't know. Okay. Huh? I love it. I don't know why he stresses it. We learn this from Tilim. It says, "Utzfuncha," which literally means in your hidden space, but it's a hint to the word tzafim, which is north. The end of that pasuk is that the sons will be satiated. So we have a remez, a hint, alluding to the fact that if the tzfuncha, if the bed is in the north, then he'll have children, he'll have boys. Nachem by Yitzchak Amar, also his wife will not miscarry, God forbid. How do you learn this? Because it says over here, tzfuncha mali vitnam, that tzfuncha will fill in your chambers or your treasures. It'll fill the stomach. So it says beten here and beten there. And beten by Rivka is expressing the fact that she had the actual children. So you learn from there that they won't miscarry. Today we're not careful, for whatever reason, halachically, to have the bed placed in a certain direction. There are different sources for this and so on, but this is what the Gemara is bringing. Very nice. The Gemara says here?
No.
Ah, I think it's a very good shot. What? This wasn't really the Gemara's point. The Gemara was trying to prove something else, that you're not allowed to daven in front of a bed.
What does it mean you're not having before today? Meaning the business is for pleasure, meaning that's the Eibishter, קודם כל הקביל בכל ועדת חזקים. או שכוונה, כולם לידר ביד המידה. אז זה גם לא
Okay, Tanya, Abba Benyamin says, Shnaim shenichon sul yispalel. If you have two people that went into daven, generally, on a basic level, this means you're davening in a place, in a neighborhood that is dangerous to walk outside yourself. You're davening late at night or whatever, it's already dark. So two people went into daven. One of them finished quicker, yispalel. He didn't finish. He didn't wait for his friend. The yotza, and he left. I finished davening, I'm gone. And the other guy will finish on his own, and he's going to leave himself. We take away they grab his tefillah, which means in heaven they don't accept this person's prayer, because he left, he abandoned his friend just to be there himself. Not only is his prayer not accepted, but he also causes that the Shechina, God's presence, should move from the Jewish people. You moved tsur, which is literally a stone, but it means it's an expression of alluding to Hashem. You moved him from his place, which represents Hashem. And if he waited for him, so if he didn't wait for him, they don't accept his prayer, and he's causing the Shekhinah to move away. But if he did wait, what's his reward? He's zecha to the following brachos, blessings. If you listen to my mitzvahs, many brachos if you do wait. You came to shul with someone else. It's dangerous to walk outside yourself because of the area on the time of the day and whatever it is. And you waited for him, you inconvenienced yourself, you get many rewards. Okay, we have to do Rashi's. La'ayin mar b'milei, it's halfway up the Amud. It means if Ashresh B'maislav, he should inspect his deeds. Why did his wine turn into vinegar? He said, listen, if any one of you know anything wrong that I've done, please tell me. I'm open to hear. If anyone among you heard anything that I've done wrong, please tell me. Maybe I oversaw it, overlooked. His part of the twigs of the vines, after they cut them, just like with your partner, you have to divide the wine. Also, those extra pieces of the twigs you have to divide, and you didn't. That's Rashi explaining how we got to that word. So he said, 1 second, it's true that I have to divide it with him, but he stole from me. In other words, last time he didn't. Do you not suspect him of stealing? He's the one on the ground. He's stealing a lot more from me. So I don't even owe him this. They said, yeah, that's what it says. Basa ganva gunev. People say, hagenev and aganev, someone that steals from a thief. Afu teim tam gneva. You're also tasting what it's like to steal. You have some accounting how it makes sense and whatever, but I just mentioned here that we learned about Yaakov Avinu, that even though Lavan fooled him and cheated him so many times, he was still honest in all his dealings as a shepherd for his father-in-law. He never said, he owes me one, or these 7 years, he tricked me, I don't even owe him these 7 years, and so on and so forth. In other words, not stealing even from a thief who stole from you. Samach lemitasi, kol yamain is hartish le'lases melacha, which la'lasek b'teira. Shemad lemitasi ad she'ekra krishma v'yispalo. My whole life, he said, I was very careful not to do any work and not even to be involved in learning when I got up till I davened. So I said Shema and davened. It's explained that the learning in this case is obviously not learning in order to daven. It's not a preparation for davening. He's not going to shul. If he's sitting in his house, he starts to learn, he may literally forget. You get involved in the learning. Before you know, you miss the time of davening. Also, he probably woke up really, really early, and he could get lost in his Mount Krishma and so on. Suffering the bottom north to south. Reisha Omar Galesel. It's the head of the bed and the feet. Zelet Safim, Zelet Darim. This is north and this is south. That's how it comes out. Yeah, Zev is there. So as you said, the head is to north. Nira Beinai, Shashchina b'Mizrach, Ebemaidav. And Rashi says, it seems to me that the Shechina, Hashem's presence, is either in the east or in the west, depending on the time of the day or the time of the night. Therefore, it's appropriate by relations that a person should be facing the other directions. So again, because the end of the pasuk, which is the same root word as north, it talks about sons. So we learn from there that putting the bed in the right place, a person will have sons. They'll complete the days of their pregnancy. It's interesting that in Brachos from the Rabbi, in letters, you also have this concept underscored clearly regarding someone writes a bracha for a healthy pregnancy and so on. The Rabbi says that she should fulfill her days of pregnancy, which, not to miscarry, there's different ways to say it. And part of that is to say that, like the Gemara is saying here, that she'll have a full pregnancy. Teiref nafshe ba'apei. We didn't do this yet. Okay. No, we did. Yeah. Teiref nafshe ba'apei. Someone that leaves the shul, left his friend alone at night, and he went home. L'cha eimer, asher geramte l'chalutin es nafshecha b'fanecha, umay hanefesh u'tfilah k'meisem ve'eshpech es nafshi l'fnei Hashem. Causing that your soul should be taken. It doesn't mean your soul literally, but it means your prayers, because with prayers, there's an expression of eshpech es nafshi, I'm pouring out my soul. You thought that because you're done, you left, so the Shekhinah is going to leave. You're causing your friend to miss out. Now, what this really means is like this. Your friend is davening alone in shul. He realized that you left. Now he's worried. He has to walk home himself. He's not concentrating anymore. He's not davening properly. So because of that, you're causing Shekhinah to leave because he's not davening well. Maybe there's other ways to also disturb people from davening. But I won't go there. Rav Yosef Reb Chanina, Luke Shafta, says Rashi, Lashon Hamtanahi. If you listen, but it's a term of waiting. This person is waiting for his friend. Which I commanded to be kind. Lirais. No, okay, next. The next piece is join us tomorrow because it's very fascinating about seeing mazikin and how a person could see demons if there are any demons around them, shadim and other stuff. What? Yes, God willing. Well, hopefully we won't see any of them. We'll be affected with it.